Welcome to this video. My name is Eva, and in this video I will share about how to overcome a crisis situation and my best advice. Hopefully it will help you. So what is a crisis situation? For me, it is just a situation where a lot of things come together. So for example, you have a sudden death, unexpected death in the family or in your friend group, like parent or brother or friend, or someone dies, or you lose your job, or what else, you could, for example, lose your apartment, and you have sudden changes that you didn't expect, or even you start trauma therapy, and a lot of things from your childhood that were just very sad can come up, or you have to quit contact with one of your family members because they're not good for you. So a lot of dramatic events. And when you have, or even you move to a different city or a different country where you don't know anyone, and it can feel quite overwhelming. So a lot of different things can come together, and it can cause just a major crisis, because you have so many things to figure out, and you're even still stuck in this emotional side, because each crisis has usually always, at least in my opinion, an emotional part. So for example, you lose your job, then you have that emotional part that can be depending on your childhood very often, or on your genetic kind of how your genetics are made. It can really hit very hard. So for example, if you define yourself over your career, over your success, and you lose your job from one day to the next, it can really hit hard. So the emotional part, and then you have the action part. So for example, okay, what should I do? I have to apply for new jobs. I have to figure out what I actually enjoy. I have to research, and the action part of it. But if you have a crisis where there are so many different things that you need to figure out, you have so many different emotional parts that are coming at you all at once, and it can feel quite overwhelming. And for me, it felt quite overwhelming. So yeah, for me, it was just starting trauma therapy, and also moving to a different country, and and just general life in my early 20s. It felt quite overwhelming. So my advice that really helped me was, first of all, tackle one crisis after the other. So start with the one that is the most prominent to you. So for me, in that case, it was the trauma therapy. Focus on the things that come up, all the trauma that comes up, and be like, okay, what do I need to learn here? Read a lot of books, at least that helped me. Podcasts, YouTube videos really helped me. And focus on what you can learn also. I think that's a huge lesson for me, to always focus, okay, what can I learn, what can I change? Super important to focus on the action, because what I felt like when I felt overwhelmed, it was usually because there were so many uncertainties. But once I took one step, everything became much better. So just take one step, even if it's in the wrong direction, but it can give you momentum to take another step, and another step, and another step, and another step. And step by step, it can take you out of one crisis at a time, and it will get better also. So focus on what you can do. Super helpful. And I think with that also, at least for me, probably doesn't apply to everyone, but maybe it applies to you too. But for me, it was super helpful to differentiate between grieving and depression. So grieving for me is really like a friend. I welcome grieving. I say, sure, you can. Sorry for the background noise, but yeah, sure, you can come and you can stay in my house, and I can cry, and then maybe it takes some days, some weeks, a month, some years, or just some hours or some minutes. But I always welcome grief, because I know after I cried it will be better. But depression, on the other hand, at least in my case, people are very different, but in my case, I try to fight depression, because for me, depression is really like a false friend. He comes to your house and he's really sweet and kind, but then he just stays there and never leaves, and step by step your house becomes the house of depression in a way, and it keeps you like a prisoner in your own house, like you cannot do anything anymore. So for me, I really always try to fight against depression, to say, not today. Today I'm fighting against you, I'm taking action steps. Because if I don't fight, it can be so easy to just to just stay in bed and never get up. But no, you have to fight depression because you deserve to live a life, really, and with the good and the bad of it, with the joy and with the sadness that life can bring. So, yeah, really important for me, the lesson differentiate between what is grief, what is depression, what can you fight against, what do you have to surrender to. At least for me, that was super helpful. And still, another step that really helped me was to still focus on my like physical health, so go to the gym. And I just went to the gym every week a couple of times, which was super helpful. And was I depressed? Yes. Was I feeling motivated? No. But always afterwards I felt much better. Just to work your body, do cardio, helped me so much. And also obviously eat healthy. If you have problems with that, yeah, maybe I don't know if right now offer my services, but if I offer them right now, you can check them out. Yeah, so super helpful to eat healthy in the long run. It will be so worth it. And also, if you have the opportunity, get mentorship and get help from other people. Depending on how you feel in this crisis situation, it can feel, yeah, like you don't want to live anymore, so get help. I know, like, probably each country is different, but in Germany, for example, if you feel like you don't want to live anymore, you can go to a clinic and you can say, hey, you have to help me, and the clinic has to help you, I think. So yeah, maybe it's similar in your country. So if you feel like you can not manage it alone anymore, there's no shame in it, because yeah, childhood trauma, etc. So just get help, maybe get a support system, family, friends, someone who can help you, and really ask for help. Say, help me. That can be really important. And also, what can also help is to get mentorship, so get a coach, a therapist, whatever, just someone who can get you out of because when you're in a crisis situation, sometimes it can feel like you don't know what is right and wrong anymore, you don't know what is up and down, it can feel like you're stuck in a storm. But if you have a mentor, they can really help you going through that process. I mean, the same that I did with some clients in nutrition, showing them the way, because I have already walked the way. And the same, someone can help you when it comes to, for example, grieving someone. So connect yourself with those people, get help, mentorship, that can really help. Yeah, and also an amazing exercise that I did that really helped me was to check the facts. Always like write down a list with all your fears, with all your worries, with all the worst case scenario and everything that you have in your head, and then focus or write down on the right side of the sheet, write down why each worry. Is it realistic? Is it not realistic? What can you do if it is realistic? So, for example, losing your job, and then writing down, okay, my biggest fear is that I cannot afford food and rent anymore. What can I do? Is it realistic? Um, Write everything down, and then write down action steps that you can take. And this is such a helpful exercise to get you out of your head and get everything on a piece of paper so that you can structure your thoughts. That can really help. Also, for me, what helped me a lot was talk a lot to people. Um, yeah, just talk about it. It can help so much to process everything that is going on in your head. So yeah, really, really important to talk about it and to write it down. Maybe if you have a journal, start journaling, write down everything that is in your head. It can be super, super helpful. Yeah, and the last one is have compassion with yourself, because first of all, there are so many things happening that you cannot control. Life just happens, and there's nothing in your control that you can change. So focus on focus on being kind to yourself, focus always on what you can change, and focus, at least for me, that helped me, give yourself some time to grieve and focus on the injustice, but just in a window, and then shift your focus again to what you can change. Can you help other people with it? How can you progress, so that you are not constantly focusing on the terribleness of life, because that can also catapult you into depression. So always come back to focusing on what you can change, what you can do. Exactly, and be kind to yourself and be compassionate towards yourself. Yeah, and now some mindset traps that you should really not fall into, or if you're into it, some tips on how to get out of it. So for me, one mindset trap that I fell into at one point, I was just thinking everyone has it figured out and I'm just here trying to figure it out. But the reality is, first, not everyone has it figured out. There are so many people who are terrible parents or also terrible children and who just don't have life figured out. And so not everyone has it figured out. And those people who have more or less figured it out, look up to them. Look, what can you learn from them? What qualities do they have that you can also gain? What can you learn from them? So that is important. But yeah, just this mindset of everyone has it figured out and I cannot do it, it's not a very progressive mindset, and it doesn't get you where you want to get. So always come back to, first, not everyone has it figured out, and those people who have more or less figured it out, what can you learn from them? And also have the confidence, okay, this situation that you're in right now, it will not be forever, and you can get yourself out of this situation again. And that is also a huge mindset shift that you have to understand, is that no situation is forever. So now you might feel very depressed and very sad and lonely and lost, but this is just a situation right now. It will not be forever like that. So you might feel like this for maybe a couple of weeks, months, years, but it will usually not last your whole life. I mean, obviously, depending on what kind of trauma you experienced, but for a lot of situations like losing your job, etc., you will just feel sad, depressed for a couple of weeks, months, years, but eventually it will get better. So always have that hope that eventually it will get better. Yeah. And also, inexperience does not make you stupid, because at one point I also felt like, wow, I'm so stupid for not being able to figure it out. But it's not true. Just because you have less experience does not mean that you're stupid. You can still learn all of that experience, and step by step you can learn. So just because you're in a bad situation right now does not make you stupid. You can still learn and get yourself out of the situation again. So yeah, really important. And a huge one is also shame. This is really something that I struggled with a lot, obviously because of childhood trauma, that I had a lot of shame that other people gave me, and I took it on even though it was not mine to carry. So I had a lot of shame. But what really helps with that is to realize, again, write down all the things that you're ashamed of, and then write down who gave you that shame. Yeah, write it down. Who gave you that shame? And then write down, is it really your shame, or is it someone else who put that shame on you? Like, let it be parents, society, friends, whoever it is who put that shame on you. And then you can take it away from yourself. And also you can, for example, really figure out, okay, what is really my mistake? So for example, you did something wrong in work, so you lost your job because you did something wrong. To say, okay, what can I learn from that? What is my responsibility in that? And feeling guilty a little bit is really helpful, because it can make you change your actions. But just wallowing yourself in that shame, it can keep you stuck, and it's not very progressive. It doesn't get you forward. So if you feel ashamed, just say, okay, what do you need to change, and focus on the action. So that's always why when someone does something wrong and they apologize, the apology is great, but does the action actually change? So focus on the action. That's really important. Shame doesn't just keeps you stuck. It keeps you in a victim point of view of being stuck. You cannot do anything if you're stuck in this shame spiral. So get yourself out of the shame spiral, and just say, obviously with help if it's possible, but just say, okay, I want to focus on the action steps. So, and the last one is forgive yourself and be patient and be kind to yourself. You don't know it all, and life just happens. There are certain things that you cannot control, and just giving your best is all that you can do. It's okay to make mistakes, it's okay to make wrong decisions. It's normal, it's human to make wrong decisions, and you don't know what you don't know. So do the best you can and be kind with yourself. And yeah, so these are the tips that I can give you when it comes to overcoming a crisis situation. If you're in such a situation right now where you just have so many things coming at you, I send you all my love. I know it's horrible, but nothing will last forever. So the good times will pass and the bad times will also pass. So have that hope always with you, and one step at a time you can get yourself out of difficult situations. It's really just one small step after another small step. So yeah, so this was the video for today. If you had certain experiences, write them down in the comment section so that you can help also other people, be kind to other people, and give the video a like, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, and if you want to learn more about me, check out the links in my description box to see what I'm currently offering, and I hope you have a beautiful day.